What's going on, everybody? Kasabe here, and this is likely going to be my last stadium show-off of MLB 22, just because I'm anticipating no new year-to-year saves for stadiums. They didn't do it last year, at least. So as we're getting closer to MLB 23, I wanted to do my guess on the MLB 23 cover athlete, since we'll be likely getting some news on that relatively soon. And I wanted to do it in a little bit less of a traditional sense, and that is because I wanted to make a stadium tribute to this player. I've been thinking about this for some time. Stadium props, you don't really have that kind of Minecraft blockability where you can like build something with a bunch of different color blocks and kind of like paint a picture. But there are some props that you are able to do that with. It's quite difficult, but by golly, I gave it a shot. So with that, I want to give you the MLB 23 cover field, which as I'm zooming out here, very generic, stands in the back near home plates. Just wanted to round out the stadium more than anything. But as we go closer to left field, I wanted to show you guys the show wall. It's based on the font from the game. I did the show. Didn't have enough space to do the MLB logo in the top left, and honestly, there aren't too many red props that you can build this with anyway. So this took a lot of white and blue blocks. I'll show you guys what I used that with here in just a moment, but let's get over to the rest of left center field. You can kind of see I built a 23 above the batter's eye. So then the question is, why is the 23 in green of all colors? Why did you pick that one, Kasabe? And the reason for that is I believe the MLB 23 cover athlete will be from the team that I'm actually wearing the hat for right here. And that athlete is Julio Rodriguez. So let's go over to the wall here, and I wanted to build, you know, kind of a recreation of the cover itself. And you can't really do a full-on like guy swinging a bat. It's just too difficult in the Stadium Creator. So I was like, let's just do the headshot that you have for like ESPN.com, MLB.com. They show like the player profile picture, so to speak. And darn it, I made Julio Rodriguez out of blocks. So let's go take a deep dive here into the stadium. Actually, let me just zoom out real quick and show you the full product. We did use 99% space, a lot of blocks made up left, center, right field walls. Just wanted to add like the stands, like I said, to kind of round out the stadium. If you want to hit dingers at this park, it is 5,000 foot elevation, so you can just kind of go nuts, pelt the right field, left field, center field walls with some dingers. I've actually hit a few into the stands over here, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, let's go ahead and kind of do a deep dive on how I built this. So first and foremost, you have some stadium props that are using like cargo ship boxes, like shipments that you get in those like metal things. So here's what it looks like. You have blue containers, green containers, orange, and red. Those are the four colors that they have the crane boxes for. So that was kind of a no-brainer. MLB The Show has always been a bit more like MLB colors, blue, white, and red. So that's what I built the back of the wall here with. And as you go over here to MLB 23, you can kind of see I have the green shipping containers. To get these kind of jagged edges, I did the ship container, just flipped it around to the edge. So you can kind of see here, if I have the blue one, you have like the doors on the back, which is why the texture is a bit different from like the straight pieces to like these kind of diagonal ones. But there is no white cargo container. So for these, I actually had to use like a, what was it even? I guess it was like a mobile office, like kind of those things that they give to like movie actors to live in like between shots or something like that. And I just turned all of them sideways and formed the letters here. So like each square that you see, or each like half a square, is one of those. I grouped them all together at the end of this, so you can actually like move the entire thing if you wanted to. Some of these you can actually still see the wheels on. I didn't notice that originally, but you can kind of see the wheels poking out from the cart. So the straight letters were probably the easiest ones to make. This W was probably, I don't know, 50 plus different shapes or like carts that I had to throw together to form the W. And this was all from scratch. I didn't have like a texture, like a template that I did this with. I was just looking at an image of the text like I do when I make my logos. I just kind of do things by eye. Let's go over to Julio here now. So same thing for the white blocks down here for his uniform. Just used a bunch of those carts. As we get up to the edge though, with some of this outlining, I wanted to provide an outline to give it some more pop. And with that, you don't have too many black objects. You have these really long scoreboard or like sign backs. But as we get up here, they have some carts that you can also use just with this little piece right here, like the little drink container behind it, and you can kind of contort it and like rotate it so it has like these different angles. So for this, it's like his earlobe, But over here, I used the carts just for like the places that I couldn't use the scoreboard because it would be like too wide from one end to the other. To make Julio's face, we had to use a bunch of different types of props to kind of like differentiate his different skin tones, such as his like facial hair. So we have wood, brick, just like concourse things for his teeth. We really couldn't do much besides like this marble. I also gave him some like facial hair down here with some of these carts again. The eyes, again, just like kind of that white block. Eyebrows, we had to do like these things just angled. So this is like a triangle one that I had to stick over here. As we get up to the hat, it looks really bad compared to the rest of it, but I wanted to make the Seattle S. Otherwise, you just see these like black outlines for the hat, nothing else. It just seemed like it needed a little something extra else. Even though this S I'm not terribly impressed with, I did want to kind of give it some pop to the hat so you kind of knew what it was. So there's like the little compass in the middle of the Mariners logo. I just used like the pinwheels that they have from the White Sox ballpark. We turned some of these other like ship crates and stuff around again for the green, and some of the marble to give it the outline. So there's Julio Rodriguez. This took a ton of time to make. It was at least like 3 or 4 hours of work. It's kind of hard to differentiate between Julio Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. Sometimes I look at this and think it kind of looks like Ken Griffey Jr., but here's the picture I used for Julio Rodriguez as kind of a side-by-side comparison. It is extremely hard to make this look super accurate to real life. So for those of you who are just like, that doesn't look anything like Julio Rodriguez, I implore you to try and do better. It is very difficult adding all of these different elements together. Let's take a look at the back wall here too. It just kind of looks like those like horrible polygon like texture things where like the people are turned inside out in those video games that are kind of buggy or unfinished. Like that will give you nightmares almost. Look at all this stuff just jetting out of the back of the wall, I guess, in right field. You also kind of have the same thing here over in left field, although this one, like the props I used are square enough where it can kind of show like the same thing front and back. So again, here's a final look at the ballpark. We used MLB The Show Stadium Creator in a Minecraft sense to kind of build these. It was very difficult, and I'd be interested to see if they add something like that for a future edition of Stadium Creator where you just kind of have square blocks that are different colors where you can kind of build stuff. The only thing is you don't want people going too nuts with what they build, building some inappropriate stuff and having to police all of that. So I completely understand why they might not add something like that into the game. But it is possible. You can use different props. Building something like this is indeed possible. You can definitely build a player caricature. You can build fonts like this. It's just all about like the sizing. You can't like shrink or scale any of the props as you're doing so. So that's why the walls are this big. That's why like left field stands are all the way up here. And as much as I'd like to do like an entire cover, like the people who Photoshop stuff like this and make it seem real, again, there are just some limitations to Stadium Creator. I think I did pretty well with the amount of stuff that I had provided to me. So that'll do it for this edition of Stadium Showoff. Who do you guys think is going to be on the cover of MLB 23? I just think Julio Rodriguez had quite the impressive rookie season. Home run derby just kind of electrified the sport a little bit, kind of like we've seen with some of the other cover athletes in the past. I think that's kind of what you want for marketing. You want a young player for the most part that everybody kind of relates to and kind of like renews your interest in baseball or gets people excited who might not like baseball all that much. Just try and get them to buy into the sport. So having an athlete like this in his rookie season, leading a franchise that hasn't been to the playoffs very much recently, and just kind of giving them that sense of, you know, hope, I guess. Hope is the best way I can describe it for Mariners fans, like that kind of hope that they'll be able to reach the World Series and win it with a generational talent like Julio Rodriguez. I think that's definitely something that invokes like a cover athlete or, you know, gives them good criteria. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the cover athlete for MLB 23. Who do you think is going to be on the cover and why? But I'm excited to see what things like Stadium Creator have added to MLB 23, some new content, gameplay, updates. We'll be covering a lot more of that on the show Tuesdays going forward. Not so much gameplay and stadium creations. We're going to be doing a lot more speculation with news and what might be coming out with some of the features for MLB 23. Be sure to subscribe for more of that. But until next time, this is Kasabe. We'll see ya.